Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 898 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Pyles, joined today by James Dean Rader and Ben Funky Askren after another weekend of college wrestling, and sadly the last full weekend of, there's still like 2 duels left, but it's over. It's over. Yeah, I think Oregon State has a duel, and there's like a Bellarmine Presbyterian situation.
Yes, there's 2.
But for all intents and purposes, the regular season is done.
In fact, those don't even count towards allocations.
They don't?
No, they do not.
So what are they doing it for?
They still count towards at-large.
Okay.
And seeding purposes.
Oh, I forgot to look at the Last Chance Open. Speaking of that, what happened?
Shoot. Yeah, I didn't either. You know what? Let's look.
I'm Googling it right now.
I was too busy on Trek Wrestling looking at Takedown for the Troops out in Hutto, Texas.
Hey, I saw your son won a tournament. How about that?
It was really, it was awesome. It was so fun.
Yeah?
I did yell at a ref, but I apologize. So.
Oh, my goodness, Christian Pyles.
No, it was actually really cool. That was like one goal he set for himself to win a tournament.
There's actually some decent people here. Troy Spratley beat Michael D'Agostino by injury default in overtime.
A takedown for the Troops? How did I miss this?
No, Last Chance Open.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought I would have noticed that.
Berwick lost to Julian Farber in the finals.
Oh, man.
Valiant Prep brought a squad. Kyler Larkin wrestled. Adrian Meza wrestled.
So is it? I wonder if this is going to help get anyone to the tournament. Probably not.
Northwestern brought a squad because Tal Shahar won it. Wow.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spratley, D'Agostino, injury default.
Interesting.
Oh, wow. In overtime.
Overtime, right?
That's not good. Man, D'Agostino just can't seem to catch a break, can he?
No, he can't. Yeah, he gets hurt a lot, unfortunately. Broderson got the W and he got the medical forfeit over his teammate.
Yeah, I guess he only needed like a few.
And Northwestern kind of brought a lot of guys because they Evan Bates 84 also.
Yes, they did.
Wow.
All right, so the last chance happened, providing a service.
And it was more legitimate, we'll say, than other years.
It's always legitimate. It's a great tournament, one of our finest. Okay, so I don't know where to start.
Probably Iowa, Oklahoma State is the thing that most people care about, although it's probably not going to be all that exciting to discuss, and it was not all that competitive either.
Well, I think that is the thing that's most interesting to discuss is, we had kind of there were some compelling matches here, and most of them broke Iowa's way.
Yes.
To me, the most interesting thing was, one, we did not expect Abe Assad to wrestle coming into this, or I didn't think he would, at least.
Yep. Just
based on some comments Coach Branson made a week or two previously. But he was out there. It was a pretty exciting match with Whitlake. I did not think Abe or Travis looked like particularly awesome, but it was a pretty good win for Abe to have after missing 3 weeks with an injury. So I thought that was pretty notable.
Almost a month, because that was that was January 22.
Yeah,
so almost a month.
Did you watch Warner Serber?
I did. No, I actually remember that one. Well, I want to talk about Brant's Plot, because Plot is, he was kind of having a really good season, and now he's lost a couple matches back to back, and he didn't really sniff Nelson's legs, and I mean, he didn't get close to a takedown in the third period.
Nelson's gonna keep himself in a lot of matches this year just by being guys are not. I mean, I don't know if you watch with this sort of a analytical or technical eye, but what is it that guys cannot get in on him?
Well, yeah, we remember we were doing lines last week and we talked about this. Is that he's lost? He's actually only 6-4 on the season, but his losses are Starocki, Labriola, Edmund Ruth, and Rocky, and they're all like uber close 3-2, 2-1 type matches.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he gives up almost no takedowns. But a decent part of that also is he doesn't really engage a Superman. It's not like he's taking 24 shots, right, and trying to get to the legs. It's he holds really outstanding position, wrestles hard for 7 minutes, and looks for his one spot.
Yeah. he had a couple of times. He actually got in a couple of times against Plot. Plot really, we kind of laughed at the interview Coach Smith did after the Missouri duel, but he really didn't do anything in this duel. I was really surprised with his activity level. I thought overall this looked to be Oklahoma State looked to be a team. You always talk about this, but like training through an event, like just because top to bottom, the team didn't look great. They looked pretty flat to me.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a good indicator of that is like, how did their best guys look? And even Dayton Fix, who is the model of consistency and excellence, did not look good against Brody Teske. And I give credit to Teske for wrestling him really, really tough. Yeah. And it was interesting because JD just looked at the box score. He's like, "Oh, just Dayton rolled here," but it wasn't really that way. It wasn't that way. And
it was 4-3, and he got the 6 point, 2 and 4, 6 point takedown, and then ride time to get the major. But if you were a Dayton fan, you were watching that live, you might have been getting a little nervous because he was looking very tired, and did not have the ability to really ride Teske all that well. Took a stall call, and was kind of tied up in a few of those scrambles.
Yeah, I thought it was a good performance from Brody, but definitely not Dayton's finest showing, which shows the level of excellence he's at because he did major Brody. But I thought Brody's final shot there, I thought it came a little earlier than it had to because Dayton had a warning. So I think if he had just kept that kind of like pressure on him for another minute, he might have gotten the second warning and gotten a point. Or I think you got to be a little more sure of your shot there. And his head was down. He got re-attacked really, really easily.
Yeah, I mean, Brody's not a great leg attacker. Yeah, so to your point, I think maybe came a little bit too early, and I probably could have got that second stall call for sure.
Yeah. The Warner match was interesting because you think 3-2, okay, probably one takedown and they trade escapes, but it wasn't that way. Serber had a really slick takedown, and then Warner rode him out the entire second period. And then the third, Warner goes under and gets a locked hands call and an escape to go up by one. And then
Serber locked his hands? Goodness.
Early in the third. And then this was just not Oklahoma State's day. Just like, I don't think there were like a lot of bad calls, but basically everything broke Iowa's way. And there was a good Jacob got in on a leg attack, and Serber hit that same dive roll he hit against everyone. Elam, he's really good. And he gets to it, but the way he comes through, Warner's knee is in a really, really bad spot, and they potentially dangerous. But he had kind of come out. So it was definitely his best scoring opportunity since that leg attack. And then that was pretty much the end of it, and he lost by one. But if you're Oklahoma State, you're like, okay, you can definitely win this match. I continued to be more impressed with Serber. I mean, it's not just
tough.
He's tough. I don't know if he can, he's not a top 4 guy, but
definitely not.
He's a tricky out in the round of 16, even round of 32. He's going to have a better seed than him in round 1, probably of NCAAs.
Yeah, I mean, he's a tricky out, but there's a lot of guys. I mean, he had the 7-0 loss to Tanner Sloan, who obviously Sloan's been really good this year. But he lost to Harvey. I mean, he could, I would say, if you said what's more likely, he goes 1 and 2 or All Americans. There's these chances I'm picking 1 and 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. I don't disagree with that.
But yeah, he has upset possibilities.
Yes.
Tanner Sloan is 20 and 1. Did you realize that?
No.
Do you know who his only loss is to?
No. The GOAT Andy Smith. The GOAT Andy Smith. Right?
Yes. Oh my God. What in the world?
Andy Smith's kind of got some good wins this year. I mean, obviously to anyone that pays attention, but
so he doesn't have that many good wins, but he's beaten Silas Alba twice, and one of them was 12-0, which, given how well he's done, that's kind of impressive. And then he also has beaten Owen Pence, who's pretty tough, and he's beaten Serber. But yeah, not a lot of great wins there. Obviously, Big 12s will have Rocky and Serber and Pence and a few other people again.
Yeah. So I look forward to watching Sloan again. And then 25. I mean, Spencer's cartwheel pin
was cartwheel.
That was insane.
Great timing.
Because Whitcraft was going for it. I don't even know what it was like. He had the head and he was under the arm, kind of. It looked like, oh, this is kind of spicy. Yep. And then he just cartwheels him right to his back. And it took him a while to get him flat. But Spencer goes out the same way he started his carver career, with a pin.
Yeah, he Will was out to put his shoulders flat. Big time.
Yeah. Whitcraft, yes.
Whitcraft. There's too many wits on that team.
Wits. They need to get their wits about them. So, yeah.
It was really impressive how hard Real Woods dominated Carter Young, because Carter Young's been having. I mean, he did lose on Thursday to Moshe Schwartz, I believe, or did he beat him? No, he beat him.
He beat Moshe.
So, given how well he's been doing, it was a really impressive performance from Real Woods. And I maybe have been slower than you guys. I didn't want to put the cart before the horse. But yes, Aliras and Woods have now seemingly got quite a bit of distance between themselves and the field, which is really funny given that they were in the same field last year and you didn't feel that way about them. But it does seem they're quite a bit better than the rest.
Yeah.
A lot of people left this field, which has a lot to do with it. But also Real Woods scored all of his points in the first period again.
That happens.
Yeah.
Still a lot of points.
It's a better strategy than trying to maintain a consistent pace where you're cautious for a little. It's if you get 8 points in a period, you're probably winning that match.
Yes.
It is.
Okay, I think he got 7 of his 8 in the first
7 of the 8 because he got away. But it is kind of weird because I've never viewed Real like that.
Never.
But he's scoring more points than ever too.
Yes.
So
that tilt is nice.
Yeah. Pretty much everyone should know that tilt.
Nice 2-on-1 tilt series.
With the reinforced bar.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do tilts. You're against them.
Yeah, but I mean, I teach a lot of tilts because tilts, they are a great way to score some points. But yeah, for me personally, I don't bother with that stuff. That's such for babies.
You will teach them though. You teach tilts.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Be an idiot not to. I mean, I would say they're very easily the number one scoring top move in college wrestling. I wouldn't even say it's competitive or close. I think it's probably like 70% some type of tilt.
More than the
the
3/4 stack.
You don't see very many of those. If you can get 3/4 stacks, someone, you're likely going to pin them, so you probably won't even get any near fall points.
Yeah, so you must show that one a lot.
I do. I got a mean defecator.
What is that?
A little bit. It's where I'll show you sometime.
I don't want to. Don't show me the defecator.
Secret hold.
It's a secret hold.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. So a great way for him to go out. Murin Voinovich was a very interesting match. Voinovich got the first takedown. Beautiful high crotch. And then Murin gets his own double leg takedown. And man, he was sort of tired at the end, which was maybe the only Iowa guy that was sort of faded. But
I could have seen a second stall call. So the first stall call, I think, was with 40 seconds left in the third period. And I thought there could have been another one there also.
Yeah. And then
Seabrick, wait, you know what we didn't talk about?
No.
I'm sorry. We didn't talk about Kennedy versus Sheets.
That was a great match.
You didn't respond by this. Sheets hit that wonderful limp arm, right? And then he just moved the wrong direction and he fell over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
And he was on a single and he limped. And I think Kennedy moved that way, and Sheets went that way and kind of fell over, and then Kennedy just went on top of him.
Yeah. I mean, the way it came out, Sheets gets away, and it's like, okay, 1 point match, but you figure Kennedy's just going to, and he immediately fires the single. He gets in really deep, as you mentioned, limp arm. He's almost behind, and then I don't know if he rushed the finish, or what it was technically.
I think he just misguessed. Yeah, I think he tried to rush it, and he kind of thought, okay, he'll be right here, and then Kennedy moved that way, and he freaking slipped off the back and fell over.
sometimes you got to zig when they're expecting a zag. That's what happened here.
True.
It was a zigzag situation. But yeah, nice win for Kennedy. I mean, Sheets got the first takedown of that match, I believe. And Kennedy continues to pass the test. I want to see where how Big Tens are going to be seated at that weight.
That will be very interesting.
Yes.
See how that's seated.
Okay.
All right. I got nothing else in this duel.
I'm trying to think what else was on my mind. Oh, Seabrick and G. Feller wrestled the Spider-Man meme match, and it was about how you'd expect. It went down to tiebreaker rideouts for G. He got the win. A couple interesting exchanges and scrambles, but nothing really of note, and pretty much exactly what you would expect from a match like this.
For sure.
So yeah, Iowa rolls on senior night. All three of their seniors won, which is a cool way for them to go out. Elsewhere, this was not on. I didn't know this was an option. Emilio Isaguera over Brock Hardy.
Dude.
When I saw that flash on my screen, because I didn't get to watch that match live because takedown for the troops. I came back. I was like, oh, maybe they put that up wrong because, I mean, I don't even think he's wrestling, and Brock Hardy's probably not gonna lose it, but he sure enough did. Ben, why don't you talk through that situation a little bit?
Wait, hold on. Is this taking over the troops? Is this Caleb's tournament that you keep talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, like
you don't know that?
How am I supposed to know what tournament Caleb's wrestling in?
I felt like everyone was talking about that for this tournament for weeks.
Oh, everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Izagiri got that cradle kind of really early in the match, and it was impressive because he got it locked up, couldn't turn it, went away from it, went back to it, went away from it, went back to it. He really stuck with it. But then I think what impressed me more than his ability to get that cradle was, so then Hardy gets an escape, a takedown, and cuts him and gets it almost takedown at the end of the first. And you're like, okay, wow, this might fall apart. And then Hardy gets an escape, so it's 7-4, and he gets a stall call, and he gets an almost takedown again, I think. And then Izagiri kind of controlled it after that. He got in, he almost got a takedown, or maybe got a takedown, and then he gets a reversal in the third period, and he rides out the entirety of the third period. Brock Hardy is a very difficult person to ride. So I was super impressed with Izagiri because, he had that first big move, and you're like, okay, true freshman, really good experienced guy who wrestles hard. This could fall apart. And it looked like it was going in for a second. And then Izagiri just locked in, and he won the end of the match too.
I also thought Hardy looked huge compared to Emilio. I thought he looked significantly bigger. But the cradle was crazy to me because he has it, and it looked like, and he loses. It's like a near side cradle. It was a good shot from Hardy, and he scoots and sits the corner. Does Isaguera, and then he locks up the near side cradle, then he lets go, and then it looks like, and Ben, you would probably know better than me.
Yeah, he was trying. I think he thought he was going to have to get a go behind, and then he relocked it up. Yeah,
but it looked like he almost started rolling as he relocked it and takes him through. It was sort of unorthodox, and I was impressed because he didn't immediately put him on his back. He had to really. Yeah. It was one of those near side cradle situations where sometimes they can have it locked up, but you don't get any near fall points. So he had to roll.
I mean, Hardy's got that Gumby feel, moves out of there. Yeah, I mean, so he had to work hard for those points.
Yes. So then that was a game changer. Liam Cronin takes out Brandon Courtney in sudden victory, contrary to David Bray and I's predictions.
I'm so glad we didn't do a 1.5 pointer on this one.
You owe myself, the fans of Nebraska, and Liam Cronin and Mark Manning quite the apology. Tyler, will you please?
We're rolling tapes.
Roll this tape.
I'm claiming David Bray influenced me.
Play
He's
it.
a bad influence. Go ahead and play it. This could be doctored. Pick 'em, says JD.
I can't hear anything.
This is Courtney. Yeah, it's like not even. Yeah, it's not a thing. I mean, it's a thing, but see, it's a thing.
Are we getting tape? Because I can't hear nothing.
Should be getting some points here, in my opinion. Go for it.
Really? Think so?
Yeah, do it.
What?
Do it.
And smart.
You know what to do.
JD smart.
Say Liam.
Say
Liam Cronin. Say it right now.
No. You said I don't know if I'm picking Liam Cronin. Let me look.
I think you should.
I
need all right from you, man.
Barnett.
CP said this is not a thing.
No, I'm gonna go.
Allegedly. This is the first time we've ever rolled the tape.
I love. Can we? I think we should play the tape on each other more often.
JD only wants to roll the tape when it serves his own purposes.
I mean, that's a smart move.
Y'all can check me at any time.
All right. Yeah. So blew that one. Still thought, Courtney. I still think Courtney's better. I don't care. I
mean, Courtney had the leg up in overtime. If you freeze it there, you're thinking, he's probably better. But Courtney's tricky. I don't know. I mean, I know Courtney's good at these leg passes, but after a while, to me, it just seems utterly predictable. Like, you get his leg in the air, he's going to go back underneath you. And these guys, really besides Spencer, he gets them all.
Yeah, when they roll under.
He really does.
He squishes them. Yeah, he's good at passing legs. Big win for him, for sure. I mean, he really has had a great year. And maybe I'm just having a hard time shaking Liam prior to this year.
That'd be big for seeding too, because the Avs won't meet again.
Yeah, completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that was pretty much all that happened of note in that duel. Ed Scott, Austin O'Connor, super close match. We could roll that tape because the line was 8.5. Ben and I scoffed, rightly so, and it was a one takedown match.
We did scoff at that one.
But I'm a bigger man. I'm not going to roll the tape, even though I absolutely would.
I was on that show, so you can roll that tape.
Yeah, but it was your line, so your imprint is everywhere.
This is true.
But then again, with all the available data, you had to have a pretty big number for O'Connor.
Yeah, but there was just something like the logic said it was a big number, but then there was something else that said this is not going to be a big number. Like it was, I don't know, it just felt it felt obvious to me when it was said.
Yeah, 8.5 is too much, but I did think it was going to be a larger margin of victory for O'Connor. I've just been really impressed with him. Since he's come back. And I thought Scott would maybe make another really large jump, and it feels like we haven't seen him make kind of that second jump yet this season.
I also think Ed sort of didn't wrestle his typical style against him. He wrestled a way more controlled, basic, solid type of he wasn't like go for it mode. And I think a lot of that is a credit to O'Connor, who is so good positionally. Like, you don't even get to try the insanity that you attempt against like an Andonian or whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, Ed should generally scale back the insanity because it has worked against him. I guess you could say it works for him sometimes, but it has definitely worked against him a lot of times too. And if you can wrestle tough positionally, sometimes you could do that and then sprinkle in a little bit of the other stuff, but not to the volume that he does.
Yeah. So that was, I mean, NC State rolled against UNC.
Yes.
Clay, you texted us about Clay Lout, Ben, and
what's up?
We were hyping him big time this year, and he's just, I don't know, something's going on there.
Yeah, I remember he was really tough at NCAAs last year. I'll look up his performance, but I remember watching him like, damn, that dude's scraps. All right, NCAAs last year for Clay Lout. Beats Troy Fisher, beats Tyler Eichens, loses 4-2 to Mackay, beat Mako, lost to Plot, lost to Labriola. I mean, that's I think 6th place or 8th place.
Yeah, it's kind of not as good as I remember it. He did beat he did beat Hayden Hidley that year.
Beat Hidley, beat Matt Finesilver. Let's see who else he beat last year. Beat Finesilver again. Finesilver is really tough. Beat McNally. He did lose to Rocky Jordan, and he lost to Labs. So he lost to Labriola 3-2 twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, not a great showing there.
Oh my gosh, maybe it's because I have a bias because I didn't realize this. He beat Peyton 2 years in a row at the NCAAs.
Yeah.
Son of a gun. But he lost to Labriola 2 years in a row at the NCAAs because that year it must have been blood round. He got knocked out by Labriola.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's rough go this year because he lost to I don't know who this guy is. Alex Fison. He lost to Luca Augustine. He lost to Will Miller. He's lost. Yeah, rough year.
Rough year. And now at 6-4, is he going to be? Could be uphill for
definitely
him to
not
qualify.
getting an AQ.
Yeah, he's got to steal a spot.
Yes.
Okay, so that was.
Sorry, when is that show coming out? Is that this Wednesday or something?
The allocations.
Yeah.
It'll probably be Thursday, but
they're gonna news dump us.
There's a chance.
Bunch of cowards.
Could be Wednesday.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's no it's coming out at this date. At this time.
All right. So let's talk. Well, we sent the A team to Tampa for this Cornell Ohio State.
No one else sent the A team.
But no one else told us that they just were not even going to try to field full lineups. So that would have definitely changed our staffing had we known. However, we just assumed incorrectly. So yeah, this was kind of like the discussed match for all the wrong reasons because of who wasn't wrestling. These are the starters I have that were out. And it was both sides had a lot of guys missing. No, Yanni, Unger, Hoffman, Romero, Ethan Smith, Harchla, Cornella. In this one, that's a large contingent of both teams. Probably going to be
wait, isn't it more than that?
Who?
Possibly. You didn't say Foca, did you?
Oh yeah, no Foca.
You didn't say who's 84, tall, skinny kid.
Lowe's out for the year, so that doesn't.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's.
I thought he came back.
And he's out.
Oh, okay.
Done.
All right, got it.
And Fernandez is too. I think Fernandez is done for the year.
Wait, the heavyweight from Cornell?
Yes.
What? What happened to him?
Injured.
Dang, I did not realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah,
hey, did you also?
Those guys are out for the year.
We'll get back to this, but did you realize that Lou Dupre is out for the year and then immediately became an assistant coach? I feel like that's definitely something we should talk about on the show, and just I keep remembering after the show, like we need to talk about that. Lou Dupre done
the reverse Bergie.
Reverse Bergie. Swiped from one team. That's an all-time. That is just all time. But landing a job, 1 week after having career-ending, and that's a big boast for Binghamton. It's like you don't even have to finish the season. You're gonna be employed.
Yeah, I did see him at. I was at that Binghamton Navy duel after our kids wrestled out there, and I saw him on the bench. I didn't realize he was actually an employed coach. I just figured he just wanted to be around and liked helping out, something like that. Pretty impressive.
He's on staff.
I mean, it's
nice.
Too bad because
I know
because of a season-ending injury.
Yeah, that definitely stinks. Bummer for Lou for sure, but he's on staff. I think someone else was done, but I can't remember now. But yes, Ohio State, Cornell, both teams partial lineups. Putting it mildly, a lot of anger from fans who were excited for this duel, and I understand it, but you also understand why they do it. To me, it's just like
I don't know. Can I complain for a second?
Yeah.
And
of course.
There was a wife that was complaining about media complaining about people wrestling, and they have this notion that the athletes have zero obligation to the fans to wrestle. And while I agree that they don't only have an obligation to the fans, I think there should be some though of like, hey, if we're gonna have a match, like we should want to show up and wrestle and have a good lineup out there. And I remember my senior night, I was so sick, and we actually wrestled 5 people on the team because we had this weird bug. I told Coach Smith, I'm going out there no matter what. Listen, that's what I'm going to do. And so I just don't think athletes gain as much as they think they gain by taking one match off. Like you think, oh, I'm trying to peak in March, so I'm going to take one match off, and that's somehow going to immensely help me. Like, yeah, right. Maybe it helps like this much, maybe, but not that much. Like, come on, dudes, like get your butt out there, wrestle, put it on the line. And honestly, I think I can make a decent argument for the more matches you wrestle and the more data you get, the better you get. Like, oh, that single leg didn't work against the guy from Ohio State. We need to work on that again going into EIWAs. I think you can make an argument that direction.
Yeah, I mean, to me, my question is, all right, you guys obviously don't care about this match. Both teams. You could say both teams don't care about this match. So why are you scheduling a tough duel at this time of year?
Don't
do it. I just what? Why did you do this? Why did you have this thing in Tampa and sell tickets? If it's could go one way or the other, you're gonna sit guys unless we all know these guys aren't done, right? They'll be back. So they just chose not to wrestle them. And also, you can't blame the athletes necessarily because the coaches and listen, Ben Askren on senior night, you can tell Brian Smith you're wrestling no matter what. But some of these guys, they don't always know what's best for themselves, and the coaches have to be like, no, you're actually not wrestling.
Yeah. But then, I mean, you honestly, you brought up a great point there. Like, why did you schedule this duel on this date if you knew that there's a high likelihood you're going to be sitting a decent portion of your roster because we're only 2 weeks away from EIWAs?
Yeah. Penn State always has a
super easy one
easier
at home
match. At home this time of year. And Iowa and Oklahoma State basically always wrestle this weekend. But other than that, you're not really. You don't have to do this. You can do it at a different time of year or not at all. Which in this case, not at all may have been just as wise of an option. Vito wrestled Mendes. That was the match that did happen. All Vito in this one. Mendes had some moments. He made it tough in spots, but Vito just had a little too much for him.
Yeah, I really thought that Mendes was going to get a takedown. I thought he'd get one.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
He came kind of close on that one whip over.
Yeah.
That was kind of it.
Vito is the toughest person to predict matches from. Because, I mean, think about this. I was talking with someone about it yesterday, one of the dads at the club. And he's like, dude, can you believe Vito beat Mendes with that bad? I was like, well, yeah. But also, this guy loses to Patrick Glory. Nearly texts Patrick Glory. And 2 weeks later loses to him. He has this kind of he beats Sam Latona pretty soundly. Sam Latona doesn't get to his legs I don't even think one time in a match. And literally less than a month later, Sam Latona is living on his legs. You just Vito match to match. It's I don't know. They could wrestle again and Mendes could be all over him for all we know. It's really tough to predict. One thing that is a fact is that when Vito's on, he is really, really, really tough to beat. But it can be tough to predict when that's going to be.
I agree. Great point.
So a lot out of this weekend for the Roman, Dayton, Vito dynamic, anything shifting in your mind, Ben?
I think Fix and Dayton has the possibility to be very competitive. I'm leaning Dayton.
Fix and Vito?
I wouldn't get tased if Vito won.
You wouldn't get tased. Yeah, I think you've got to give him a shot. It looks like that'll. Well, shoot. I mean, how are they going to seed Vito? Is he going to get the 3 still? I feel like he should, even though he has a Latona.
Who would they put above him there?
Because he beat McGee, which is going to be big for him. Yeah. Because McGee's 4, McGonagall's 5. Oh my gosh.
There's no way. Well, McGonagall, he's going to wrestle McGonagall at EIWAs.
Oh yeah. So I feel like Vito should still be the 3, even with a Latona loss.
Yeah. There's no way Latona could go up there, right? Because Philippine and Latona will wrestle conference, but if Latona wins, who are all of his losses?
He lost to that F&M kid the first week.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
That's gonna hurt the case.
Do you think it is? Because sometimes when they're not a member of the field, they kind of just forget about him.
It'll hurt his win percentage, and he lost to
Philippi.
He's got a lot of losses.
Okay, so no chance for him.
No chance, even if he wins the ACC.
Yeah, he's got 5 losses.
No way. So Dayton Roman should still be the 2-3.
Here's crazy hypothetical though.
Okay.
Jesse wins Big Tens.
What are you talking about? How would he win Big Tens?
Takes out Roman, I guess he said.
What are you talking about? Jesse beating Roman?
I said this, but crazy hypothetical.
Hey,
then what happens?
Save the tape on this one for him.
I said it was a crazy scenario.
I mean, all right. Yeah. I'm truly speechless in this moment. I don't know what to say. I think it's such a preposterous, even hypothetical. Like, he is just not close. This guy hasn't lost since 2020 to Sebastian Rivera. I don't think Jesse is going to have a hard time generating against these elite guys. And Roman's only getting better, seemingly. Roman's, you know what? I love you, JD.
Pretty damn good. Yeah, that is.
I think Teskey could beat Mendes.
Well, let's see. Who are you going to
I think Teskey beating Mendes is far more likely than Mendes beating Roman.
For sure.
Well, who's going to be the
also
three?
Ragusin.
Bird, Ragusin, or Cannon?
Yeah, we got to. I think first things first. We got to start doing some seeding prediction stuff.
Oh, hey, I meant to bring up one thing, guys. Can I bring up one thing?
Of course, no.
It's official.
I love when Ben asked for permission to be on the
show. I'm your regular season picks champion.
March is all that matters, bro.
I'd like an award to go right here.
No.
Regular season picks champion.
We make a bet?
So
no.
Here's my address. I'll give you my address so you guys can mail it to me.
Okay, say your address right now.
I'll give you the Academy address. The Academy address is 596 West North Shore Drive, Harlan, Wisconsin. Please send it there.
West North Shore?
I know it's
you would get a lot more people if you wouldn't confuse them with the address.
If you type in North Shore, well, you want to hear something that's really confusing. But if you type in North Shore, a lot of times it'll take you to the wrong place. It's really annoying. So you got to put a W, North Shore. But our first academy is on North Shore Drive. Okay, but that's AW Lake Country because that's the area we live in is Lake Country.
Mm-hmm.
The second academy started is in Thiensville, but the area in Thiensville is called the North Shore area, the North Shore of Lake Michigan above Milwaukee.
Oh boy!
So it's super confusing because our first academy is on North Shore Drive, but our second academy is AWA North Shore. So we've had quite a few people get that mixed up.
Man,
I know
they got to really. If you want to wrestle for AWA, you got to do some homework. You've got to know. You have to have a good grasp on Wisconsin geography just to get in the door.
Oh my gosh! You can also click on the directions button. Find your way there.
It was so funny. We were driving home, and Caleb just randomly goes, "Is that the most?" I use the Maps app. He's like, "Is that the most useful app on the phone?" I was like, "Yeah, it probably is." And I was explaining to him how we used to like print off MapQuest directions.
Oh yeah,
have them in the car, and we thought that was sweet. It was like, dude, this is pretty cool. We know where to go. And I was like, and before that,
atlases.
Yeah, I was like, before that, people were just using maps to know where to go,
hitting up gas stations.
It's not that long ago. I remember on 2006, I won the title, and then me and my buddies, Joe Williamson, Marcus Hain, and Gabe went on a road trip, and we were supposed to go. We were sleep one night in Atlanta, Georgia. We were going to sleep in our other buddy, Ahmad Prater's house. We couldn't find his house.
Yeah.
We could not find his house. He was trying to tell us where. We couldn't find the streets. Our atlas, they weren't in the atlas. We were so pissed. I think he got mad at us for not coming to his house. We said we were going to come to his house. We couldn't find it. We gave up and just got a hotel.
Yeah. I remember when we would drive to New York to visit my mom's family, my dad would get lost. It would add like hours to the trip because he would not know where he's going. I was like, this is the most miserable because it's already a pretty long drive, often through the snow. And then he's lost. I'm like, there's got to be a better way.
For real.
That's when I invented smartphones with GPS coordinates.
JD don't know about these struggles, Christian. He just doesn't know. He's too young. He doesn't get it.
He doesn't know.
More or less.
Yeah, he's like, guys, just use a Garmin GPS. It's like, no, those were not helpful.
I remember like printing off MapQuest and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the extent of that. I don't ever remember having to like go to a gas station and just ask somebody who knew the area how to get somewhere.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And yeah, like just to be, especially as much as we travel, it's like, okay, where am I going? What am I trying to do? Or even just looking for something. Sorry, everyone has a smartphone, but I thought it was funny that Caleb asked that. And I was like, that probably is the most useful app on the phone.
Very, very useful app, Caleb. Very, very smart comment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Are we sure we didn't do a regular season bet? I feel like we did.
We should. I win. Give me a prize.
I think Tyler wrote it down somewhere.
All right.
Well, maybe that's not true.
Roll the tape.
But the season totals, I went 72 and 69.
Wow.
Ben went 84 and 57. CP went 79 and 62.
Okay, but unfortunately, March is all that matters. We have to figure out how we're going to do pick'ems for conferences.
What do we do in March exactly?
We haven't really done pick'ems.
Nothing
but I think
official.
We should do
every conference champion.
Every conference champion, and maybe like finals for some of the bigger conferences. And then NCAAs we could do all 8.
Every conference champion. We're going SoCon and all the conferences.
Wow. Dan,
wow.
Such an elitist. Hey, we did the MAC.
How many conference? 7, 8?
Around there. I don't know. I refuse to look it up.
Okay. PAC, EIWAs, Big 10, Big 12, SoCon, MAC. Is EWL still exist, or they got rolled into something? They got rolled into MAC, right?
Yeah.
Is it only 6?
ACC. You didn't say ACC.
ACC. 7.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben, I think you owe me 50 push-ups.
Why?
For winning. That was the bet.
No, Tyler said he started a doc, but the only thing he put in there was JD versus Ben 50 push-ups for Iowa State, dude, over whoever Ben said. That had to have been 165,
over
right?
Over what?
That had to have been Carl
Iowa State, dude, over whoever Ben said. That's not...
First of all, more official documentation on this. That is not very official.
Wow.
I'm betting 50 push-ups that was Carr versus O'Toole.
I mean, that's probably the most likely thing, right?
I don't know. It could have been Perryman Certain.
It's true.
It could have been that one.
There's no way to rule that out.
You guys have been counting.
I'm probably not going to go back and find those tapes.
No, not tapes.
But what does the regular season winner get? I just want to know this.
I have no idea. I don't recall anything.
Bragging rights.
For me, the glory of victory is the only reward I've ever needed. Except when we do fantasy at Flow and then I get actual money for winning that. That's fun too. Okay.
One last thing on Jesse, too. Pretty good true freshman season.
Agreed.
Only lost to Latona, Roman, and Vito. Wins over Cannon, Foley, Ragusan. So Bird.
Good freshman
So
campaign.
I got a tough question for you guys.
But he also didn't wrestle at CKLV. That was sad to see. But all in all, pretty good true freshman season.
I got a tough question for you here.
Yes.
Given that he was number 1 pound for pound, and that he had that gross match and he's beaten other really good guys, would you consider this like an overperformance for his freshman year or underperformance? Like, did you expect him to be better? Did you expect him to compete for NCAA titles? Or, now he's probably 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there. Is that worse than what you'd expect?
Mendes?
I feel like we had a lot of, there was such an element of unknown that we're like, man, maybe he could wrestle with some of these guys. But I feel like it was just more than anything, not a sound assessment by us. But we were definitely driving Jesse, not winning a national title, but maybe he can enter the Vito, Dayton, he can contend with some of those guys.
Yeah.
But I think that was all rooted in freestyle stuff. And I don't think that's I think more and more you're it's a data point, but it's not, there's so much more to the equation. So I think he's had a great true freshman season in reality from wrestling in high school last year. He's beaten all guys he probably should. The one match you would say maybe he should have won was Latona, but man, Latona beat Vito. So to have no bad losses as a true freshman, that's pretty tough. Because there's a lot of guys, a lot of really good wrestlers taking L's, and he basically only loses to elite guys, and he beat several All-Americans. So I think he's had a definitely met expectations.
For sure.
Would you agree?
I would generally agree with that. Yes.
Yeah. Because
I could have seen him being a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have seen him be a little better, but he has wins over Bird, Ragusan, Foley, Cannon. Yeah, pretty good.
This is going different train a little bit, but you bringing up pound for pound made me think of it. Carr's win over O'Toole. How does that stack him up in not so much Hodge? I guess Hodge, but it's okay, Spencer's probably going to win Hodge.
Spencer,
But in a pound for pound talk with a guy like, a Starachi and a Roman who David lost at NCAAs last year, but then he picks up this mega win. But also those guys aren't able to get a win on the same level because they're staying in the same weight class. How do you judge that?
I feel like that's why it's weird, because those guys are never going to have another match like that. Right? The other guys in the pound for pound will not have another as highly ranked match. The one would be Roman and Fix. This would be the only one.
Right. So prior to this match, we had David Carr number 8 on pound for pound, and Keegan at number 5.
Mm-hmm.
You think pretty obviously
he passes him.
He passes him, goes up to number 5.
Sure.
But does he, go ahead of like a Yanni who lost this year, and David hasn't, and beats an NCAA champion like Keegan? Hands Keegan his second loss of his career.
Pound for pound, I think, takes in a larger pool of data, or I think it should. And so I think, he can definitely pass Keegan. I think Yanni probably not. And this Jirachi, RBY, and Spencer, I think, have to stay until they lose. So I think there's a case for it. I think he has to go jump Fix and Brooks and Keegan based on that, but I don't think he can pass Yanni. That would be my opinion.
That's fair.
Just too much. The Gomez loss is just such an outlier for Yanni, and he's been, great since then. So I would say no.
Same amount of losses in their careers, right? 2.
True. Yanni did not redshirt.
Well, but he had a couple years in there too.
Yeah. Same amount of losses for sure, but 3 titles, all the guys, and also if you stack up the elite wins Yanni has, he has way more,
good.
and that's got to be
for sure
a huge data point. The number of guys he's beaten. Carr's got great wins, but the year he won 157, he did not get to face Ryan Deacon, his lone loss. That would
have been interesting to see what happened in 2020 when they did not have NCAAs, because he had that loss to Deacon. It would be interesting to see if he could have avenged that.
And also, if you Carr, that 1920 season versus the next year was a different guy. And I know he only lost the one match that year, but I think that year at 157, it was going to be, that was like very much like Deacon and that group. And I feel like he was a little bit behind there still. But we didn't get to find out, so it's a what if for sure. But yeah, I think that's where Carr winds up. We had some other odds and ends. The Morgan Turner, who
she's good.
She is so good. She placed. She's the first girl to ever place at the Illinois State Tournament, Boys State Championships. I think 3A. She actually placed third. She didn't just place; she got third. She lost in the semis to Atlantis, who I think was the eventual champion, and then Morgan winds up pretty dominant for third place. Incredible performance by her. I can't wait to see her as she continues through the age level and then eventually senior level, because she seems so ahead of her time. I mean,
I'm gonna say I feel like she wrestled really small last year. Like I don't know that she doesn't weigh 106, but I feel like she wrestled at like a really small weight.
No, I think you're right. I don't know if she weighs 100. She didn't look totally outsized in the match, so she could be growing. She's young, so that's going to happen. But an incredible performance by her.
Yeah,
man,
she wrestled 90 pounds. Let's see. This is August. August was 42 kilograms, whatever the heck that is.
It's like 90-ish.
90 something, yeah.
92.5.
Yeah.
So
she was like 79 last year. Some things though.
Yeah, she's small, but she's a beast. So congrats to her. In Iowa, go ahead, JD.
Rihanna Utterbach placed at Iowa High School Boys State as well.
That's cool.
All right, I got a debate for you guys. What do you guys think about the
Let's embrace debate?
Well, now that the high majority of these states have female divisions, should the females be forced to compete in that division, or should they still have the option to do either one?
I don't really have a problem with it if they want to.
I do think you should pick.
Pick one or the other. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to do both.
Yeah, I think you should pick. It is kind of weird because
that's what it is in Iowa. she did not wrestle in the Iowa girls state tournament. Yes. Just the boys.
And obviously these ladies are, when they do that, they just want tougher competition and get to face that.
Yes, that was her scenario. And I don't think you can do it if your school is sanctioned, like has a sanctioned girls team. She's the only girl for her team.
Oh,
and it's not like a compliance thing where like some schools partner up, and then like because they're like, oh, we have one girl and we have 4 girls or whatever, so you can just go here and wrestle on this like official partnership.
Yeah,
that's not the case. She's the only girl on her team, so they gave her coaches gave her the option, and she said, I would rather get to good competition and go and wrestle the boys.
I think to me, it doesn't bother me at all. It is sort of weird when you think, like, I don't know. Does this happen in, like, basketball? Could a girl just play on the
What's a team sport? This is individual. So, like, track would be, a better thing. But
track, yeah.
I don't think it
I don't think you see that in track, though. In cross-country, the races are all together, so you could technically the girls race against the boys, but in dual meets, for a little cross-country talk, but like at the state tournament, it's not like that. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's fine. I think it's where we're at right now for women's wrestling. A lot of these brackets for some of the elite girls, like just like the guys, they're trying to get the toughest competition they can. They want to really test themselves, and at some point, some of these tournaments are like it's too easy for them to win, and they just want to win that. And even if not, it's their prerogative. I don't have any issue with it at all. What do you think, Ben?
No, I mean, I do think it adds a level of legitimacy to the women's state tournament, and obviously there's been a lot of women clamoring to have their own separate state tournament for a while, and I think they all should. And so when you have the best girls in that, it adds a level of legitimacy to that tournament. And if you have in any tournament, if you have the best people sitting out or choosing not to participate, it takes away from the legitimacy of it, and no one cares as much. And so if you want people to care as much as possible, you need the best people competing in it. And even if, and for that best competition thing, I kind of like on that one, because it's like, I'll act like I'm their coach or something. I'm not asking you to do this for 12 months. Honestly, you can wrestle on the boys team the rest of the year. I'm asking you to do sectionals and state at the girls' state tournament. That's it. 2 weekends. You're going to get a total of, I don't know, 7, 6, 7, 8 matches maybe, and then go back to boys or go to, the national level girls stuff where you're going to get people your skill level. That's kind of how I would think about it, is like, well, I'm not asking you to do this for 12 months, and I'm not asking you to practice with a different team. We're all going to practice together probably at this point. The boys and the girls are probably still practicing together. And you can compete on the boys team the majority of the year, and then sectional state, go win a girls' state title and legitimize that tournament.
Yeah, it's a good point, because at some point you want the women's tournaments just stand on their own. But if all the best just choose the boys, then it's like, well, it could be a really tough tournament. But if they all are choosing, if all the elite are choosing to just wrestle in the boys, then you'll never get there. So at some point,
that's something.
I do think that is the best case scenario, to have a really tough girls and boys tournament.
To draw a parallel. I mean, I've done that with our boys. There have been certain tournaments where they kind of look down on that tournament, say, "Oh, that tournament's not that hard, so we're not going to skip it." And like Southeast Wisconsin, where we have 3 academies, it's like, well, listen, you guys might say it's easy, but if all of you guys show up, it's actually going to be pretty good. So how about you guys show up and go get some good matches, and let's get this. And it's not an easy tournament. If all of you guys show up, it's no longer an easy tournament. It's a hard tournament. So that, same thing for the girls. I can speak for Wisconsin. There's going to be quite a few good girls. If they all show up, there's going to be some good competition. I mean, obviously there are going to be some girls who are head and shoulders above others, but there will be some pretty damn good brackets.
Yes. Also in high school talk, did you watch Gabe Arnold versus Tate Nocturne?
I did not watch that. I asked you what the result was.
Come on, dog.
Well, I mean, they're just going to go triple overtime every time.
That's the first time that's happened. What are you talking about?
Tiebreakers another time.
No, they went to tiebreakers last time. I watched the tiebreaker.
Oh, okay. This is the reversal. I thought that was in regulation.
Oh, so they got to fix high school out of bounds rules.
Yeah, high school out of bounds is JD. It really is so ridiculous, because when you're watching it, you know there is a rule, but when you're watching it, it feels very arbitrary of when they're calling out of bounds versus when they're not. versus college is so superior. And I think, the argument on why they don't use college out of bounds in high school is because some of the mats aren't like there's not as much out of bounds. The rule should be we're going to use college out of bounds unless for some reason we can't in this singular dual meet, and then they change it. But college out of bounds is so much better.
I mean, there was one time, I'm trying to pull up the match here and send it to Tyler, where both in the 30-second span, you can see both wrestlers just dive for the the other wrestler gets in on the legs and they just dive for out of bounds because they're close. And all it takes is like one dive and, you get partially out of bounds.
Yes.
Yeah, in Gabe and Tate's match?
Yes.
Oh, 100%. They both were in deep on singles, and the other dude literally just leapt out of bounds.
Yes.
They leap, and then they turn and face at the point when they can't do anything, and then it just goes out. But it was a very exciting match. All right, we got some voicemails. Oh, this North Carolina thing is really sad. It just sucked. Did you see this at all, Ben?
I read your tweets on it.
Okay, well that's pretty much what happened. Basically,
yeah,
the table worker misscored the match. The one kid should have won 8-6, and they had it backwards, and the other kid won 8-6. This mistake happened like in the second period, and somehow the coaches, the officials, the table workers, no one noticed until the match was completely over, and then the ref said, "Hey, the score's right," and they move on, only to have them say, "Okay, well, this was totally screwed up," and so they re-wrestled the match, and the next morning, which honestly was the right decision to re-wrestle it because you can't go back and rescore the match because this guy thinks he's winning. So for over half the match, so there's nothing you can do. You can't just say, "Well, it was scored wrong." So they had to re-wrestle it. And then the guy that should have lost the first match won big.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
So, very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
At least they didn't Ian Miller him.
They didn't Ian Miller him. The NCAA said, take the L, Beth. Sorry, Ian. I know Ben can't talk about this because he's compromised. He's in the pocket.
Why am I compromised?
Oh, you're in the pocket of Big Real Buto. You love them. They're your boys.
I didn't even remember that till you said it.
You didn't see? They erased his memory.
I did just see Steve and Kath. They came to Luca Max's birthday party. You want to see the best wrestling stance ever?
Yeah.
Because their son Colin wrestles for Northern Iowa, and Northern Iowa's wrestling Wisconsin on Saturday, and so they went to Luca's birthday party, and then they went over afterwards. Okay, look how cute this is. This is the best thing ever.
Oh my gosh.
He's ready.
That's how you do it. You ain't getting through that head hands. No freaking way.
So funny.
So that was too bad. Unfortunately, during state championship
it's pretty crazy
season,
though that no one recognized the scores wrong between the coaching staff and the athlete and everyone else.
I know, and I kind of haven't wanted to say this, but it's like I just remember when I was always checking the score every time points went up. Like I don't know, it's almost you don't really think about it. You're just always doing it because you got freaking volunteers clicking buttons.
Yeah,
it's like
even on both sides. Like if it went in my favor, for example, I would want it correct because I wouldn't want them to change it later and have the athlete like miss thinking about the score. So say it's supposed to be 5-3 me, and I'm winning, but they give me an extra point at 6-3. I don't want the guy that I'm coaching thinking he's winning 6-3 when he's actually only winning 5-3. So say, hold on, let's make sure we get this right. And then obviously just in the sense of fairness, like you want the right points on the board. You don't want to win by cheating. So 100%. Let's do it right.
So yeah, I couldn't believe it wasn't caught by them because coaches know, like you got to make sure. But heat of the moment, things happen, and that's how it goes. Unfortunate. This is a weird part of the year because there's always crazy drama during state championship season because the refs aren't great. There's so much happening.
Yeah.
Like this Nasir Bailey state title celebration thing where the ref wouldn't let go of his arm? What
happened? I didn't see this. What happened?
Oh, it's not good. I don't know why the ref wouldn't just let the kid go.
Sometimes why the refs feel the need to. I mean, there is something, but obviously being a referee is a hard job, so I don't want to totally crap on them. But there is something about the personality type that is a referee wants structure and order, and they also want to be in charge. And so if something is happening that they don't like, sometimes I feel like they go too hard as opposed to just being okay with whatever they don't want to be happening.
Yeah.
So he holds on to his arm the whole time?
Yeah, he wouldn't let him go. He would not let go of him.
That's false imprisonment. Can't do that.
It was not a good look. Yeah, just.
Well, you think of all the years of wrestling training this year, Bailey know how to clear a wrist.
Yeah. Well, he probably wasn't
arm drag on him.
He thought the match was over. He didn't know he had. Man, what if he arm dragged the ref?
Listen, if someone grabs my wrist like that might put me in battle mode. I might have to arm drag.
I mean, he just finished the match. Who's to say when battle mode ends?
I just texted it
seriously.
to you, Ben.
Yeah, you can watch it.
Okay, there's certain ways where someone grabs you a certain way, it puts you might put you in a frame of mind where you got to battle a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. He's put his hands up. How long's this clip? Oh man, this is getting some. It's got 220,000 views already.
Yeah.
Okay, but the ref doesn't even have him. Okay, now the ref has him. All right, so the ref's like talking to him. Why? What is going on?
Not good.
What is this ref doing?
Yeah.
Then he did it anyways. Good for him.
Yeah, then he did his backflip. Good for him.
Well, I saw someone. I don't recall which state it was. It was scrolling through social media quickly, but I saw how I want to say Nebraska, but I could tell definitely they outlawed backflips as a celebration.
They did. Some journalist named Stu had a very Stu take and said they should not allow. He said finally they're getting rid of backflips. Like this
that's
has been
a joke. That's a parody account.
Everywhere.
Was he? Oh, it was a parody.
I don't know. It's got to be like what? Who would have some stupid take like that?
I don't know. He's like a verified dude. I am the high school sports editor and golf editor for Omaha World Herald. No, this guy hates backflips. I promise you.
He's just mad he's not athletic enough to do one. I mean, I can't do one either, but whatever. If you can't, go for it, I guess.
Yeah. He hates backflips. And rightly so. They are a menace, a scourge.
I do think it's a little overplayed because the first couple people do a backflip, that's really cool. But now it's like, there'll be 14 weight classes, 42 state champions. I don't know. We'll hit like probably 14 backflips on next Saturday. It's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
What I always find to be funny is when me and Shane talked about how the crowd in Wisconsin sold out, how there are certain types of celebrations which are like crowd approved, but certain other celebrations will get booed. I never get this. Like a dude starts dancing, boo.
Yeah.
He flexes and points to the crowd. Oh, so awesome. It's like, wait, like why are we deciding which celebration is approved and which one is not? It is so weird to me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, you won. Have a little fun for a second. I mean, don't be out there for like 3 minutes or nothing, but dance for a few seconds or
don't do the Napoleon Dynamite, dance routine, but
whatever.
Have some fun.
Also, this isn't even true because you do the backflip after the match, and like if a football player did a backflip after the match, nothing would happen.
Well, I think it might be a penalty. Oh, after
the game.
Oh, the game's over. Good point, JD.
You can't get a 15-yard penalty after the game's over.
Yeah.
And you can't get a technical after a basketball game's over.
Oh, wow. Check and mate, Stu. This is the real Big J. Big JD, we call him.
That's right.
But Omaha, that's kind of you got peoples there.
It's true.
This has got to be hard for you. Put you in a tough spot.
Stu's not my people.
Stu's not your people. Backflip people are our people. Because can you do
one? I
one?
always said Stu was never my friend.
No. I can do a front flip.
That's pretty good. I can't do it.
It's been a while since I've done that. I probably shouldn't say that.
Who does that? All right. Let's get to some voicemails. Starting with Vasectomy Radio Live. Let's play that one first, Tyler.
Hey guys, this is Pete from Washington State again. Hey, I couldn't help calling. I'm just now listening to Monday's show, and I just heard Ben say that sperm crossed the blood-brain barrier. I'm a family doctor, and I just want everyone to know that is absolute idiocy. Don't be a coward. Do your wife a favor. Get a vasectomy. Don't get your health information from Google, and especially not from Ben Askren. Ben, I'm a huge fan, but stay in your lane.
Hater.
Pretty please. All right, thanks, guys. Take it easy.
I'm going to find these studies now.
Okay, find the studies. You go to war with the family doctor. Google Ben Askren. Yeah.
Family doctors. What is up with these doctors thinking they know everything? Haven't they learned? Listen, I heard a bunch of doctors say that, don't get me started. We just saw what came up. That, no, natural immunity is not really a thing. And now 2 years later, they're trying to admit it after they forced everyone to get a shot. Like, you doctors, you don't know everything. You think you know everything.
I don't think there's some conspiracy to get people vasectomies.
You never know, Christian.
Why would there be a conspiracy about that?
They woke.
I'm done having kids.
Paid. Let's go.
It's not that expensive.
They don't get to cut my nuts. They don't get any of my money, Christian. They cut my nuts. They get my money, and then they get me in a dementia home. They get more of my money.
They get more of your money when you have another kid, Ben.
Well, listen, I pull out real good. I'm 100%. I never misfired. Not one time. It's been a lot of times, Christian. Me and my old lady, we've been together for 15 years now.
Actually, don't you get more tax breaks for having more kids?
Yes. Christian, we're talking about birth control methods on the show here. I didn't swear once today, but you made me talk about birth control methods.
No, I didn't. That was not necessary.
Yes, you did. You said if I had more babies, but I'm not having no more babies.
Well, you act like, oh my gosh.
Let's go.
100%. All right. I mean, I can't even. I don't even know where to go from there. Yeah, don't take medical advice from Ben Askren.
Or people who said natural immunity doesn't work. If they said natural immunity doesn't work, you probably shouldn't listen to them.
All right, let's go to an area where Ben is a true expert. Youth practice question. Right. Let's get to that one.
I'm sending you guys the article right now. Vasectomy may put men at the risk for type of dementia.
Hey, this is Pete from Washington State. I've got a question for you, actually, something I really need your help with. My son is 6 years old. I've been wrestling with him since he could crawl, and he's always loved it. And we just recently put him in a youth wrestling program. We live in a really small town. It's the only program within about 50 miles of us. And unfortunately, the coach is really, he's really intense. Practices are basically an hour and a half of drilling with about 10 minutes of kind of king of the mat style, live wrestling at the end. And, he makes them run if they can't. He gets really in depth on technique. We're talking the 5 to 8 year old, age group. He gets really, really kind of into the weeds on technique. And then when they can't pay attention, he makes them run laps. I can just see him extinguishing my son's love of wrestling as we go. I mean, he doesn't even want to go to practice anymore. I don't know the coach at all. I don't really have a relationship with him. I'm really trying to figure out how best to provide some constructive feedback. I just want to know if you guys have any pointers for me on how I might go about that in the most constructive way possible before my kid starts liking basketball or something serious like that. So anyway, would really appreciate you guys' insights. Thanks for your time. Take care.
Ben?
Oh, I'm just still I'm finding these vasectomy links. I'm trying to help.
Because I called it.
What do you say?
He commented Ben's not going to be able to focus on the rest of the show looking for vasectomy research.
Yep. Ben, you have to get off this.
No, that's a tough one. Because yes, most likely I would just say find a different club, but he made it seem like geographically that was not in the cards, right?
Yeah.
Is it 50 miles? That's kind of long. Where does he live? Like in the middle of nowhere?
Washington, I think he said. Washington State.
Must be like way out. Way out. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously because if someone is I don't know. I mean, I would just go try talking to them at first and see how receptive they were to a discussion. That's probably your first step. And then if they really push back and they have a God complex like some of these doctors have, then I mean, if it's me, I'll probably just do my own thing and coach a few kids that want to. But yeah, I mean, obviously not everyone's in the position I am. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe try to convince a few other parents that the way the guy is doing it is not great. I would probably look at his history also, like how long has he been doing this? Is he having success? Is his retention great? If he starts with 40 K through 3 guys, how many of the 40 stick around till 6th through 8th grade, stuff like that, and then try to make a point to him about it. Probably what I would do.
But more broadly, the practice structure doesn't make sense for that age group.
I would say no. I mean, we're lucky enough where we can really split it up, and no, I mean, like under that age, they're not good. They don't really retain information well. Just let them battle a little bit, let them have some fun, teach them how to learn and listen a little bit, and just don't have too high of expectations. And then you can really make so much movement when they're older in a short period of time if you get them to enjoy the sport and want to listen and learn, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I just think about practice like that as it's not going to keep many kids in it for very long. And even if they just get forced to do it for a couple of years, they're not going to enjoy it. And they should, at this age, they need to be enjoying it, what they're doing.
I think so.
Because they're going to quit the first opportunity they get if they hate it, which will happen someday, parents. So I just be mindful of that. If they're not having fun and like wanting to go back, that's a pretty bad sign. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, all right, well, what's the retention for this guy's program like?
That's what I would say. Yeah,
I would cite that.
Because I remember I probably told the story a bunch, but I remember I was at this tournament in Illinois, and they're like, "Yeah, we got 47 fifth and unders or something, but we only have 3 kids in 6th or 8th grade," and it's like, hello, McFly, like
there's a reason.
Yeah, there's a reason that's happening. Like
these kids just they're not tough.
Yes.
No, you just don't get it. I have a question. Dad Talk Radio Live. All right.
Dad Talk.
So yesterday, Caleb did not go bottom one time. We just took neutral. Are you team auto bottom for youth wrestlers?
Hell no. Choosing bottom in youth wrestling is dumb.
Okay, good. I feel smart.
You have some youth wrestlers who are actually good there, but it's more rare than likely that they're good. And so it's like here's what I think about it is a big part of bottom is being strong, and we're talking young. I'm even saying like 6th grade and younger. A lot of them they can't generate the power in their hips and their shoulders in order to do a lot of the things necessary to get off bottom.
Yeah.
Does that mean we're not going to drill it? No, we're going to drill it, and we're going to wrestle live and practice on top and bottom. But if we're at a wrestling match, oftentimes, especially experience-wise, they suck on bottom. They're going to get their face rubbed in the mat. They're going to get the arm pulled back, and then they're going to get barred for a minute straight,
Yeah.
No, so I think neutral is the better choice the majority of the time. And especially even some of those kids, I know their best position by a very long shot is top. I'll choose top too.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, as they started getting in 7th, 8th grade, then choosing bottom becomes more frequent. Simple, definitely still not for sure, but definitely more frequent.
Yeah. Because part of me, I was like, man, should he? But then I was like, no, you practice bottom in practice every single time, so you don't have to. It's not like you're getting more experience just by choosing bottom. Okay, good. I feel a little better now.
No, totally. And then, obviously, even in high school and college, I think auto bottom is very low IQ, right?
Yeah.
You should be looking at the match and seeing what is happening, what is their skill set, what is my skill set, that type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. You got taken down and ridden for a minute and a half, maybe.
That is the most frustrating one right there, when you just got ridden for 90 seconds. At no point were you ever close to escape, and you chose bottom. Like, what is even happening?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. I hate it.
Okay, cool. Penn State Pete had a question.
This is Penn State Pete. Let me ask you 2 questions. Number 1, do you think Levi Haynes, if last year's redshirt rules were still in effect, would be wrestling this year? Number 2, do you think the ACC and Big 12 gets higher rankings for the NCAA tournaments because there are lesser quality matches than the Big 10? Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
So the first question, would Haynes have wrestled this year, basically, if they didn't have the redshirt rules they had? I think probably so. I just think you see him in more opens. You see him probably wrestle at the scuffle or something like that, to where he can prove himself, and then they're like, okay, yeah, he's ready to go. But instead, they just got to let him travel with the team and prove himself in duels. But you think about now Mark Hall and Levi Haynes, like, not trying to put the cart before the horse here, but they knew Mark was ready based on some opens and the scuffle, and they were gonna use him. So I think probably Levi gets used either way.
But how awesome is the rule, though?
It's so awesome. It's so much awesome. Cooler seeing them in these big dual meets as opposed to, I mean, just Isaguera.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's cool that he got to do that. That I don't know what was up with Vasquez on this match, but it's cool that he got that opportunity. And now we're gonna be more excited for him next year.
100%.
So yeah, I think it's great. And then what was the Big 12 question? Do those guys get higher rankings because they don't go through the Big 12?
Yeah, the basically non-Big 10 guys. Do they get hurt or helped by maybe not having as many high-level matches throughout the season?
I think the system is about as equitable as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't see the issue. Once in a while, the Missouri Tigers will get lucky, and Christian Pyles will complain about it, but that's about it.
Once in a while. So I would say I think it evens itself out. If you have the right schedule. Like, I think the Big Ten, quote, disadvantage is how tough it is, but you also have so many more opportunities to get good matches and ranking matches and things that can help you climb the ladder. Whereas, like, for a team that's not in the Big Ten, and like you have one event where like you're kind of making a lot of your bets, or like one tournament, if you don't perform well that weekend, then like your big opportunity is missed. So I think it evens itself out.
Like, think about like a Jesse Mendes, who he lost to Vito and RBY, but he was able to get wins over Ragusin, Cannon, Lucas Bird.
Yes.
Although Bird was at an open.
Right. But I do think that is, I think it evens itself out. And let's be honest, these conferences are cut out from the Big Ten dual schedule, but you can make your schedule as tough as you want it to be.
Yes,
you can go to Vegas. You can schedule these duels. Now, if you're in Iowa State, like, not a lot of people are going to get on the phone and want to schedule you. Zeke Jones has this problem. A lot of teams don't want to duel him. A lot of teams don't want to duel Cornell. But you can get tough matches if you're looking for them. You can go to tough tournaments. There's ways to.
If you go to Vegas and scuffle, that's plenty of tough matches.
Mm-hmm. Vegas scuffle, a couple good non-conference duels, and like for Big 12, it's really tough. ACC is really tough. There's only a few conferences that are your dual schedule is going to be pretty weak, or your conference dual schedule is going to be weak. So yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Okay.
Before we get to other questions, just a reminder of the phone number to call in, 515-509-5071. Also be in the description of this episode. So call in, leave some more questions, some more takes. Maybe we'll play it.
Okay. Yeah, I like the voicemails. Good voicemails. Thank you, guys. Get to some questions. I only have a couple in here.
Yeah.
One, we have Tulsa slander, and I won't hear it. Rich B says, could the NCAA have picked a worse location for NCAAs than Tulsa? 4 hotels in the whole town.
I don't think that's true. By fake news.
Yeah, definitely not true, Rich. And I think there's I got frustrated a couple weeks ago when everyone started crapping on Tulsa and getting like, what is the NCAA doing with these, even smart people, and I won't say their names, but they're like, this wrestling shoots itself in the foot thing. It's like, guys, do you understand how this works? It's like, yeah, why don't you have it in Phoenix? Why don't you have it in Orlando or Vegas or someplace awesome? It's like, do you have, like, think for 4 seconds what the answer to that question might be. And it's, these cities have to want the tournament, and they have to put in a bid to get it. So it's like, the NCAA isn't like, sorry, Orlando, sorry, Vegas, Phoenix, etc. You think that's happening?
I heard Orlando put in a good bid.
Atlanta?
No, Orlando.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Disney wanted to host it.
Disney wanted it. Do it with the Disney duel. Yeah, guys, like, there's not some enormous list of cities that want to do it. Fortunately, I think we get pretty good cities. Detroit was pretty rough last year.
Yeah, not good.
But, man, there's not a lot of amazing cities that are trying to get this thing. And so the NCAA has to make a choice based on the bids. And I think Tulsa is fine. Now, they haven't done it yet. They've got it to do, but I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be great. And you know what? Until you try it, I don't know if you can knock it. I don't think it's worse. It is expensive to get there, potentially. But Tracy Pyles is flying into Oklahoma City, and we're going to pick him up along the way. It's going to be awesome. It's a little cheaper there. So, yeah, no Tulsa slander.
Next year will be fun. Kansas
City, I'm looking forward to.
I'm pumped for Kansas City.
You're not going to go. You're going to end up coaching some Greco duels tournament.
So excited.
I met Harrison Butker at the Kansas City airport this past week.
You did?
Shook his hand. I said, congratulations.
I knew. I couldn't wait for Ben to say who. He's the kicker for the Chiefs.
It was the day after the parade.
Wow.
He rode coach with his whole family.
What a beast.
Kicker.
You were on a flight with him?
Yeah, Kansas City to Atlanta.
No one
He's
cares
from
about
Atlanta.
kickers.
Well, you care about him when the game's on the line. They won by a field goal, I'm pretty sure. He kicked the game-winning points. They won 38-35, I believe.
What a tall individual.
Kicker. Not important.
Not important. Man, big hater. You don't even watch football, Ben.
I don't watch any football.
Your wife's a diehard Chiefs fan, and you're going to act like you don't know who Butker is.
She tried turning on 10 minutes of football, the Super Bowl, and then she got overruled by the kids.
Oh, man. Dunked on.
So funny.
The Godfather. Michigan, over under 2.5 All-Americans this year. First off, I'll say this is probably the right number for the over-under.
Yes, it is.
I think they have a lock with Mason.
Yep.
Mason will place. And then what's your next lock? Your next most likely
Ragusin
is that
Ragusin? Very likely, I would say.
Very likely.
Okay, we'll say maybe that's a little too strong.
He's currently ranked 11th.
Oh, he's really that low right now?
Yeah. Look,
okay, maybe
list
not.
his losses. Mendes, Foley, Roman, Fix.
Yeah, the Foley was a bad
Philippi. No, not Philippi.
His 6 losses this year.
Biscaglia and McGee. Yeah, very likely, I believe, is a very charitable perspective. I do think he's got
too charitable. My bad.
Charitable Ben Askren.
Yeah.
They call him. So I think he's got a shot. I would say 35% chance to place, which is I think is high.
Fair. So Luan has a chance. And
if Cam Amin was healthy,
yeah,
he would have a decent shot. I don't know his health though.
And outside shot by Feinsilver?
Yes, definitely outside shot for Matt Feinsilver. So I think they've got 5 good chances, but they have a couple weights. I mean, top 5 Jack Medley, we'll see if that happens. I mean, he could place. Why not? 125.
Man, stop.
Okay. I mean, I don't think he's going to.
You would have scoffed at that a while ago. And now
I mean, I am scoffing. I'm just trying to find,
Barnett win.
Yeah. Beat Eric Barnett. You're probably going to pick him to place, knowing you.
I will probably pick Eric Barnett to place, yes.
Yeah. But 41, no. 49, don't think so.
74, no.
Yeah, 2.5. I'll take the over. Because I think Luan will place.
Yeah.
Paris will place. And then they just need a combination of
Feinsilver's at 8, guys.
Yeah.
He's ranked 8.
All right. Official stamp. Tyler Meisinger.
I'm saying over.
I'm taking the over. Hashtag go blue. Hashtag team 101. Jacob Hughley. It's looking like Iowa has a possibility of earning 10 All-Americans. This would take a great tournament, but it's a possibility. What does it say about Penn State that they would still likely win an NCAA title in the event that Iowa put all 10 on the podium?
I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. And if it did happen, you'd have a bunch sneaking in at like 7th, 8th place.
Yeah, I think it would just say the power of having titles.
This question, Christian. More likely, Penn State has 9 because they're not getting 25, or Iowa has 10.
I think Penn State getting 9 is more likely.
Yeah,
because I feel you've got 5 guys that it would take probably an act of Congress to keep them off the podium. Like they're going to place like Roman, and then Starachi up. Those guys are going to be on the podium, and most of them will probably be wrestling in the NCAA finals. And then so it's Bo, who looks like he's probably going to place. But now Van Ness could maybe not. Borderline. Haynes is probably borderline, even though I feel pretty good about it. He's more likely than Van Ness.
Yes.
After Bo, I think Haynes is the next most likely All-American for Penn State.
Yeah,
and then probably Van Ness, then Facundo, just because
Facundo might be higher than Van Ness for me because he doesn't get beat very bad by anybody. It's always like people have a hard time taking him down, so he could sneak 1 or 2 matches out against people who are maybe a little bit better than him.
And I don't disagree with that, but I'll also say 65. Just
65 is tougher.
So much tougher. So I think that balances it out a little bit. And Van Ness, he's had a couple matches that weren't as close as maybe you would have expected, but he doesn't exactly get blown out either.
Yeah.
So that gets you to 9. 10 is just tough because for Iowa, like Seabrook would have to place. That's going to be tough. And as great as he's been for them, it's still going to be hard for him to place.
And 33 is not a lock. 49 is not a lock. Obviously, you know how I feel. 65, I think, is more likely than the other ones we just mentioned. Even Nelson Brown's not a lock. Assad, I don't even think Assad is that likely, in my opinion. So they got a whole bunch that maybe can't.
Yeah, I mean, what
do you put the over-under at for Iowa? 5.5?
That's what 5? I was going to – I said the talk about 10, but I think the number is probably closer to 5.
Yeah.
It's like Spencer, Tony. I still think Warner will figure it out in place.
I think it's probably likely.
Real Woods, and then then it's a combination.
Kennedy or Murin's probably your next couple, most likely.
Kennedy, Murin, Teskey, probably in this order, and then.
And Teskey's not been great this year.
Yeah, maybe I'm just riding you were tough against Dayton Fix high, which is rare. Most people can't wrestle Dayton at all.
Teskey's only 6-2 this year. I mean, his only losses are RPY and Dayton, but he got 4-3 over Jake Gliva, which was super close. 5-2 over Kyle Berwick. I mean, it's like, I guess, part of it is maybe we just don't know because we haven't seen him against anyone that's that good. But that Minnesota match, he was losing until the end against a guy who's not even a starter.
Yeah. The reality is, Jacob, your question, I'd be surprised if Iowa had more All-Americans than Penn State.
I would also
throw the NCAA champs out. I think they'll probably have more All-Americans.
Yes,
so they do have a 10th bullet, which Penn State doesn't have.
Yes.
Okay, let me see if there's any other questions that made their way.
Good, because I got to pee so bad. I'm so ready to be done.
9:43. Eric Rage. Spencer Lee once again scored no points in the second or third period. Finished his regular season. It's time to press the panic button with Spencer.
Hey, but what is this one about you guys? I don't even know which IHSA this is. I'm assuming Iowa or Illinois.
It's Illinois.
Why do you guys hate it? It's a joke, right? Or no?
I think he really thinks we hate it.
But why? Because I mean, you guys obviously covered the Iowa High School State Tournament, and I saw
Illinois
clips.
Illinois.
Oh, he's talking about Illinois. How do we know which one he's talking about?
Because Iowa is
IHSAA.
Yeah, they put 2 A's.
Oh, there's 2 A's on there. Oh,
Association of America, I believe is what it stands for.
I wonder why he thinks you hate it.
I don't know. I mean, how many high school state tournaments do we talk about on this show? Period.
Almost none.
Not many. I don't think we talked about the Iowa State tournament at any point. Maybe we mentioned.
Well, we brought up the girls placing at both Illinois and Iowa right now.
We talked Gabe and Tate maybe, and okay, does Illinois have any rank versus rank type of matchups like that?
Yeah, I think they had top 5 guys. Basinger and Lemley maybe.
Yeah,
something like that.
I don't know. I like Illinois just fine. I think I think Shay just loves Illinois wrestling. He wants to talk about it. We don't talk about much high school wrestling at all here, honestly.
That one did get a lot more social media love.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's because you guys actually had rights to it, so that makes a lot of sense.
Well, we had Illinois.
Oh, you did? Oh, I didn't
archives
know.
At least, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right, I gotta pee. It's 9:45. I fulfilled my obligation.
Wow.
I have not peed my pants, so I'm also 100%
Last
on
guy
this,
in,
as well
first guy
things.
out. That's Ben Askren.
I gotta pee. I'm out of here.
You can't wait. Small bladder Ben leaving the building. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back next Wednesday, as in 2 days from now. Not to scare you people. We'll be back. Thanks so much for listening. A lot of content coming out. Keep your eyes on the site. We'll see you then. Happy Monday. Goodbye.